Hello, my name is Coraima Ruiz, and the project I will be talking about today is one I volunteered for during COVID and is where I did my community service hours. The project was under Todec Legal Center and is a nonprofit organization that helps people reach U.S. citizenship status. And now the project that I volunteered for wasn't aimed towards that. It was more surrounding those who are undocumented and need financial assistance during COVID-19. As we know, many people lost their jobs during that time, or their hours were cut and bills still need to be paid. As we do know, some companies did pardon late payments and others didn't. But to combat this, the project was to give them a relief of $600, and the goal was to get out as much as possible money as soon as possible. And these budgets were provided by the state of California. The first round went by so fast because there was a lot of people that needed money, and the second round was to help those who weren't able to get the first time. The project was planned and scheduled by Luz Maria, and these services were offered at 3 different locations, one in Paris, one in Victorville, and another in Coachella. And now some risk that was seen for this project, I guess, was also not getting COVID, but also we did take measures against that as well, but also not being able to get enough engagement because it was something that was so sudden. We were worried that a lot of people wouldn't able to hear about this relief, but with social media and events where people would go to their appointments for status updates, they would get a goodie bag filled with face masks, hand sanitizers, and a list of services that were being offered, which this project was a part of. And that is a way that more information was given and people started sharing with others as well. Now the scope, this was giving people a list of things that they would need, because in order to verify that they were in need of financial help, they would have to provide a copy of their ID front and back, a copy of their employer having let them go letter, and then also any form of proof that their children were going to school when COVID-19 closed them down. And this would make the process go smoother, giving that list to people. And then communication, this would happen before, during, or even near the end of work, because there were some times where we had questions on whether we could receive papers from people or what would need to be done. For example, one time a person came and they had COVID, but they hadn't told anyone, and we needed to see what protocol was for that because no one had done that up until that point, and we ended up having to sanitize the area and all the things that were used by that person as they did check in. Now, some good things that did happen was a lot of people were able to receive help, so it was nice to be a part of that and helping people check in. Now, some things that could have gone better was making sure people knew what the process would be like once they got there to the office to receive help, because our protocol was to have one person scan their heads with a temperature scanner, which I would do, but there were some people who were against it, or they would want to receive it here on their arm, but protocol was to get a more accurate temperature. It was to scan their head, and some people weren't comfortable with that, but in the end they agreed with it, which I feel we should have, let people know ahead of time in order to prevent that from happening. But I'm glad people were able to comply with this. And some things I see in project management in this project was being flexible with helping people, and also making sure everyone was doing their part, because we would have one person making calls to Luz on whether we can accept papers or not, or what we can do, like in that situation I mentioned earlier. and then one person would be checking people in, and then I would go outside. Sometimes my role was to check people in, but also I would go outside and get people's information, like their name and their number, and then I would give them that paper and then also scan their temperature as well. And then because there would be hundreds of people who would come to the office, it was a long line. So I think that was one of the good things, was having enough people there to do what was needed to be able to make the process go smooth and fast for everyone, and also safe, because it was during a pandemic and we didn't want to make any risks during such a difficult time. Thank you.